Morning, folks. Brian here, Geomagnetic Earth Watch, Thursday, February 25, 2026. I'm still learning this new recording app here. There you are. Sorry, I got more than one camera here, so I'm not used to it yet. Okay. So I was actually going to do a different video today, but I need to clear something up again. I find a lot of annoying people out there on the internet who don't know what they're talking about. People who use the term pole shift. It's too vague. It doesn't explain what is really going on. And they need to do their homework. In my class, we'll do it together. So we need to define and categorize the difference between geomagnetic excursions and reversals and one other thing. So a geomagnetic excursion it's just that. We're not on a geomagnetic excursion yet, and I'll explain. So basically, it's a straight line course, which it could stop and turn around and go back to its point of origin. Now, a pole shift, people are using pole shift are not telling you whether it's magnetic or an axial. Now, the magnetic poles, they meander and wander. They shift around. That's their job. That's what they're supposed to be doing. Okay. Magnetic North was just touring around northern Canada for a long time. Then approximately 1903, it started its beeline excursion out of Canada and heading towards Siberia. And then we have a reversal, and that is when magnetic north changes to magnetic south, and magnetic south changes to magnetic north. Don't worry about any of these two events. We are not going to be here. It is not going to happen in the late 2030s, 2040s. Period. Now, a geomagnetic excursion happens when magnetic north passes 45 degrees from Earth's rotational axis. We are nowhere near that point, and it can take many hundreds of years yet before we reach that point. So then, what is the current process being called? We are currently in what's called an excursion state. And there's different levels of excursion states. The other, of course, is being the excursion events, the last one being approximately 42,000 years ago. So you need to understand the difference between state and event. We are not under a geomagnetic excursion event. A state is the instance or condition of Earth's magnetic field, stated in variation. An event has an established timeline, a start and a finish. Now, the Champs event had an established timeline and endpoint. Now, before I go any further, let me show you where 45 degrees is. So this red line here is 45 degrees on a two-dimensional plane. So magnetic north started here, Nunavut, Canada, and started its track this way. So when it reaches this red line here in the middle of China, or actually passes it, then we will officially be on a geomagnetic excursion. We are currently only up here. We have a long way to go, time-wise, to reach this red line here, 45 degrees from rotational axis of our planet. So again, 1904, it started its course from here, from Nunavut, Canada. It started tracking away from Canada, headed towards Siberia. It is approximately in this general area right here. And it would have to continue tracking this way And when it passes central China, then it will be on an excursion. Do you understand? Now, geomagnetic excursions have only happened about 12 times in the past million years. It doesn't happen every 6,000 years. Now, the last time it went in the other direction, went to New York, continued south down to Antarctica, then changed its mind and decided to head back up to the north polar regions. Now, that process lasted about 1,000 years, and it did result in the protective magnetic field going down to about 6% field strength, which is not a very good situation. Now, currently, we're just barely in a geomagnetic state, or let's call it a traveling state. And for people to say that there's going to be a pole flip in the late 2030s and 2040s, they are intentionally misleading you for other reasons to sell a state of fear. That's all it is. There is absolutely no scientific evidence that the poles are going to flip in just a few years. When the geomagnetic state started in 1904. Okay, so we need to clear up this pole shift nonsense. Now, it does not mean that Earth and its systems are not responding to our protective magnetic field beginning to destabilize and weakening, which allows the increase in cosmic radiation, UV radiation, etc., to penetrate our field. And remember, folks, there is a transition time. We're in the middle. The magnetic field develops a chaotic, oh, there's my camera again, a chaotic multi-field configuration. Okay. Excuse me. So here, beginning of the state of the field. Here could be a pole reversal, maybe not. Hang on a minute. Here, pole reversal. Don't worry about it. We're not going to be here. Okay. 45 degrees is way over here. Okay. That's 45 degrees. We're only this far apart. That's it. We've only traveled this much. 45 degrees is somewhere around here. Okay. 90 degrees is right here. Pole reversal is right here. We're not going to be here. As for the present state of our geomagnetic field, yes, it is unstable. And I think we're beginning to experience with only the beginning of the earth-changing events. And that is the subject of my next video I've been trying to do. But I felt maybe we should discuss this aspect first of the geomagnetic instabilities and the difference between geomagnetic excursions, geomagnetic state, and a full reversal. Don't fall for the fear that there's going to be an extinction level event in just a few years. That is a complete nonsense, complete lies. Perhaps to cover up other things that may be happening on that timeline, such as the approach in the intersection of the binary system. Anyway, folks, I'll see you later. As you were.